Hi everybody, Sam here with another In Defense of Bad Movies Minisode. In Defense of Bad Movies, the show where one of the co-hosts defends a movie that is generally regarded as bad. This time will be no exception, as I, Sam, your current host, will defend Pet Sematary. Ooh, spooky, just in time for Old Hallows Eve. Pet Sematary, based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King. It has only got a 48% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 60% of users like it, or the audience score is 60%, which I'm actually a little shocked. I'm not too surprised that the critics don't like it. Actually, you know what? I am. It's a good movie. But critics are, they can, whatever. You know how critics are. But for only 60% of the audience members to like it, that surprises me. And I can't explain it right now, but maybe in a couple weeks when we talk about it on the podcast, we will be able to explain it. So do join us then. In the meanwhile, let's go, as we always do, to Sam and Loren with a Themes Like Old Times episode. Take it away, Sam and Loren. Hey everybody, Sam here with Themes Like Old Times. I'm here, as always, with my lovely co-host, Loren.
Hello.
And as you know, last month we wrapped up the Disney Afternoon mini arc that Loren had going. And we're going to kind of have an addendum to that with Gummi Bears, which was a Saturday morning cartoon thing, not a Disney Afternoon thing.
It did later feature in the Disney Afternoon. It first premiered, as you know, in 1985. And then they ran through a few episodes. It bounced from NBC to ABC.
Bounced. I see what you did there.
Oh, golly, I hate myself. And so it did end in the Disney Afternoon.
Okay, interesting. In 1985, I was so young.
I know.
So let's talk about it. Loren, you did some research on it and found some interesting things.
I did do some research on it.
This was Michael Eisner's idea, apparently.
It was Michael Eisner's. Now, we, of course, thoroughly exhaust our research.
We interviewed dozens of...
No, I mean, that we just go on Wikipedia.
We go on Wikipedia and we read things.
We scan the article about the episode.
That's about right,
information. So we take everything we quote in a grain of salt, of course. But according to Wikipedia, obviously, as we've said, the show ran from 85 to 91. Animated by Walt Disney Animation Television. And loosely inspired by the Gummi Bear candies. That makes me mad. And I can see why it happened. And according to this, the story is that CEO Michael Eisner was struck with inspiration for the show when his son had requested the candies one day. And okay, they built quite a universe based on candy.
I mean, we are living in a universe where somebody made a movie based on the board game Battleship.
Shouldn't have.
No, shouldn't have, but... At this point, anything goes.
This was well before that.
This is true.
And no, I appreciate that marketing and whatever we can do comes from anywhere, but just such a strange inspiration. I guess I'm glad because I feel like nowadays we would have an digitally animated movie just literally about these gummy bears just in the 5 different colors, like an emoji movie or something like that. So I guess I'm grateful that this came in an era when people were trying to be creative.
It is a weird choice too, because it's not like Disney is the sole manufacturer of gummy bears, and if that were the case, then of course you make something that promotes it. But you're making a show that on the surface, sure, kids are going to watch the show and it'll make, through advertising, they'll make money that way. But then when they want to get the candy, Disney's not going to get that. And that does not seem very Disney.
I wonder if they did market particularly branded gummy bear candies with the gummy with an eye at the end bears. But for what came out of that idea to be a high fantasy, high concept, complicated world canon, to be what came out of that is so bananas to me. And I remember the show fondly, but also remember how insane it was. It's, all the other shows feel like such a small ask. You have recognizable characters and they go on adventures. Like, here are our archetypes. Here are their basic drives. Uncle Scrooge is greedy, but is rich, so they travel the world and have adventures. Rescue Rangers are good nicks, and so they go fight crime. Gummi Bears is just castles and dragons and knights and once gummies and humans lived peaceably, but then the humans were evil and were going to kill us all. So everyone left except these pockets of good bears.
You remember a lot more of this than I do. And I'm usually pretty good about remembering shows that I watched, but yeah. I mean, I remember TV shows way better than I remember my actual life. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, I remember really enjoying the show, loving the theme song.
Mm-hmm. And it is a nice, bouncy, good theme song, which is appropriate.
It is.
Because these bears can make gummy berry juice.
Yes.
Which they are named after, possibly. Or maybe they cultivated this berry. And the juice has magical properties.
It does.
That lets them...
Bounce. Yes.
The bouncing, which makes them apparently very dangerous foes. Mm-hmm. They bounce on their bums and on their legs sometimes.
It feels very Super Mario-y. Like, that's how you defeat, is just bouncing on top of things.
It's sort of your weird video game conceit of that's just the interaction. And that made them, it was a big deal whenever they were in trouble. They had to drink their little cordial of gummy berry juice.
Oh no, I'm
hop
out.
away or hop off someone's face and fluster them, and then you can get away.
Yeah, and invariably they would be out of gummy berry juice.
And then when you do.
Then they have to use their wits.
And obviously other people want this gummy berry juice too.
Now, of course, who won it?
And when humans got the gummy berry juice, it was preposterous.
What happened when humans got the gummy berry juice?
Same thing, but just like, you're a human. Your body shouldn't work this way.
That seems like it would be very painful in the bum.
Yeah. It's fine for little round-bottomed bears who are any combination of mystical things.
Yeah,
you're just a person.
Yes, that is very true. Anything else we need to discuss? I mean, it's a great show. That's all. That's all there is to it.
Maybe would be curious to revisit it. Because again, I remember it fondly of like childhood enjoying it, but just considering it as a grown-up, I'm like, why would that work? What would you do? What? And they're all named dumb rhyming names.
There's Grammy Gummy. She was very gruff.
Grammy Gummy. Was Grammy Gummy called Grammy as a child? What is her real name?
And it's because I'm looking at it, it's Grammi. So, I mean, unless that was like, that's how they did, like anything that normally would end with Y ends an I, which actually, because there's a Sunny.
Because they're all named bananas. Cubby and Sunny and Tummy and Gruffy.
I feel like there should have been a Doc amongst them. Like, not Doc, actually, but, one whose name doesn't fit the otherwise scheme. Like, Fatty. Tubbs.
Nope. Fatty was Tummy.
Yeah, Tummy.
Which is offensive.
Do you think they wait to name these bears until they develop a personality or a physicality?
Maybe. There was
And Grammy didn't have anything, so once she got to a certain age, that's when they finally named her.
I did have to look it up to try to remember. There was a relative or somehow like another bear that would come in occasionally, well remembered because he was voiced by the delightful Rob Paulson, and he was Gusto Gummy or Augustus Gummy. So they're not all named dumb things.
I also have to point out too in scanning the Wikipedia real quick, ogres and humans gained super strength for a certain amount of time from the gummy berry juice. It wasn't bouncing with them.
Okay.
So
you can cut that part out.
Oh, no. I just didn't want our listeners to write in. I mean, we get scores and scores of letters of people saying, hey, that's not what happened with
bits of, like, the kid, because they were kids. There was, like,
maybe kids
a little
did.
princess in a page. And for some reason, I feel like I remember that being a thing.
As I said, you remember this a lot better than I do. So
it must be the Mandela effect. I think there was a universe parallel to ours where people would actually bounce. Mm. Why don't they get super strength? I mean, I think they, like, kind of might, but...
Toady, if they drank too much, Toady, for example, was sent streaking skyward like a firework after downing the whole cask.
Because baby, you're a firework. Sorry, I apologize for that.
And also, humans could only use it once per day. The gummy berry juice. This has a lot of rules. This has more rules than Death Note.
Really complicated mythology.
Yes, it really does. If the juice is produced inaccurately from the recipe, the results are have adverse outcomes, though nothing fatal. This is still a children's show. Mm-hmm. The secret of the juice, Grammy Gummy tries to teach Sunny for the first time how to make the juice. Blah, blah, blah. It ends a disaster. She stirs the pot too vigorously. I'm trying to get to what happens. Somebody gets pink fur, but when poured in water, creates a pink sleeping mist that Igthorn once tried to use.
Cubby's already pink, so that doesn't even seem like that's that much of an aberration.
No, I guess not. So yeah, should we just go on to let's watch the show?
Of course we should watch the show.
The episode, I should say. I'd like to watch the show sometime. But we don't have time for that. Right now, we're just going to watch the episode, the opening theme.
Thank goodness for YouTube.
It's, by the way, Disney's Adventures of the Gummi Bears. It's not just Gummi Bears or Disney's Gummi Bears. Okay, we've got some adventures happening. Oh, a dragon that they're being very friendly with.
Drinking tea with.
Yes.
There were ogres. The ogres were scary.
Ogres. And Tommy was dropping things.
Food, of course.
Guy. Yeah, of course.
Gruffy. And as you see, the bouncing is not that fast. He is barely getting away from that ogre.
Oh, I love that tree and all the openings and the whole...
It's very Peter Pan.
Yeah. Is it Peter Pan?
And so those were our human characters, our entry points for the audience.
There's a Grammy and trying it and bouncing. Yeah. Yeah, it is very fantasy.
It is high fantasy.
High fantasy, yes.
The bouncing is so strange. Like, why bouncing? It could have been like super strength. It could have been like really fast.
Did that old man? Did he have magic powers?
I feel like he.
Because he just. I mean, in the theme song, he spun his cape around and they spun around and they all disappeared or something.
If I remember correctly, like they live in a land with magic, and so he maybe more than others has knowledge of how to work the magic.
It seems like in a land of magic, being able to bounce... I mean, like in the real world, I could see how bouncing might be able to help you out. But in a land of magic, what is bouncing really going to do?
Well, it lets you escape bumbling ogres.
I guess
apparently. I wonder if super strength was involved as well. But it's still funny.
I don't think so.
And just who, as a creator, thought of that?
Right? I mean, nothing about the candy says...
You know how you drop a candy on the ground and it bounces?
If anything, it should make them sticky. Because gummy bears are sticky. They stick to each other.
That's right. So they try to... An ogre will grab you and like, I can't come off. And like, they just hate the feeling. And so they cast you aside and have to go wash their hands off. And you can escape while they're getting mad.
It's weird. But great. I'm standing by that.
Okay.
It's a great theme song. And probably a great show. I'm not going to go back and revisit it, lest I be dispelled of my belief.
You just don't want to be proven wrong, no matter what.
No. Why would I?
Because what you feel is more important than what is true. I get it.
Yes. Wait. What? What are you trying to paint me as? So let's talk about this theme song. This is a Silvershire and Silvershire joint.
That's right. They did compose it.
Michael Silvershire and Patty Silvershire. So they are an American songwriting team known for songs Disney and Jim Henson stuff.
Oh.
So that's interesting. We who knows? We might get to them again. And it is, of course, performed by... You want to tell them who performs it, Loren?
Oh, I can tell you who performs it.
Do tell.
The theme song was memorably performed by Joseph Williams, son of composer John Williams, and the one-time lead singer of Toto.
Wow.
For whatever that's worth.
I bless the rains down in Africa.
Is that a Toto song?
It is. Now hold the line. Love isn't always on time.
Is that a Toto song?
It is a Toto song. I could probably do one more.
Do you like how I say Toto?
Do you like how I say HBO Go?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, now's the time on Themes Like Old Times when we sing. Are you ready?
I'm tired.
So we start out with horns.
It is epic.
Dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their songs fill the air. Gummi bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the Gummi Bears. Magic and mystery are part of their history, along with the secret of gummy berry juice. Their legend is growing, they take pride in knowing they'll fight for what's right in whatever they do. Gummi bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the Gummi Bears. They are the Gummi Bears.
With an exclamation point.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It is a really lush orchestration. I'm going to give that to you. There are strings, there are horns.
It starts out with those big horns.
It is
that really says, like, this is going to be high fantasy.
It's like this and the beginning of Game of Thrones. It just gets you ready for the adventure.
And I have a thing with music. I mean, it's why I liked ska and that whole Big Bang thing. I love horns. You put horns in music, especially if it's not discordant, but like... where it's something that doesn't traditionally have horns, like rock, with ska and big band. I guess the big band revival is what I mean. And to have this big horn sound in a children's theme song, you had me at the horns. It's great. It
is fun and epic, and they snuck in a reference to gummy bear juice in there.
They did.
Let's lay down what the most important thing is going to be.
Did they sing out in chorus a lot as they're marching along?
I do not recall that.
I don't either.
I mean, maybe they sang once or twice, but apparently they're singing about their pride and who they are and all their bouncing they do. Bouncing. Here, there, everywhere.
Dashing and daring. I buy that they're daring.
The dashing part seems subjective. Like, is that just the dashing, like moving
like
quickly?
Like dashing through the forest? Yeah. Faithful and friendly with stories to share.
Probably.
Yeah. And like you said, not only high fantasy, high adventure. That's beyond compare.
I'm not sure I know what high adventure is in the genre appellation.
I mean, I could totally see outrunning giant boulders. That would be high adventure, which I don't believe that they've done. Muppet Baby's dead.
Muppet Baby. I'm sorry, that's another episode.
Yeah, we'll do that soon enough. Magic and mystery, part of their history, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, magic right there.
Along with the secret of gummy bear juice. Yeah. Their legend is growing, and they take pride in knowing they'll fight for what's right in whatever they do. I like that.
It is nice. They are the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
They are
very clearly.
Their thesis statement is clearly that we are on the side of right.
Even that grumpy one.
Even the gruff one. Mm-hmm. He still had a heart of gold.
Do you recall his name?
Gruffy.
Okay.
I read his name. I didn't recall it exactly. I remembered tummy because insulting. And
why wouldn't I mean, they're gummy bears. They're named after the candy. Why wouldn't the bad guys be trying to eat them?
I think the ogres might have been trying to eat them.
Maybe. It really feels like a classic Gargamel situation.
Do tell.
Where, like, there would be times where sometimes they want to get the gummy bears to eat them, and sometimes they want to get their gummy berry juice. Much like Gargamel sometimes wanted to turn the Smurfs into gold, and sometimes he wanted to eat them.
Well, you can't eat them after they're turned to gold. I don't care if they are 3 apples high.
That's true. Oh, and yet they only barely came up to the top of Gargamel's shoe.
How tall were his shoes? Whoever set up that measurement is incorrect.
I feel bad about talking about this now because we will definitely get to this later. Anyway, anything else you have to say about Disney's Adventures of the Gummi Bears?
You have charmed me. I'm kind of curious and want to try rewatching the show. Bananas as it may be.
Well, when Disney has that subscription service, we will be all over it.
Dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly, with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummi bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the Gummi Bears. Magic and mystery are part of their history, along with the secret of gummy berry juice. The legend is growing, they take pride in knowing they'll fight for what's right in whatever they do. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the Gummi Bears. They are the Gummi Bears.
All right, thanks, Sam and Loren. That was another episode of Themes Like Old Times. That was a really good one, guys. I gotta say, you guys, I mean, every time you knock it out of the park, but that one was strong. As for you listeners who are only here to talk about the next movie you want to see, remember to watch Pet Sematary and turn the lights out low because it's spooky and it's Halloween, and you should only be watching things with the lights off anyway because it's Halloween. All right, thanks for listening, and goodbye.